Hey everyone, it's Andrew Brown. In this follow along, we're going to take a look at how to set up a shared VPC using the AWS Resource Manager, also known as RAM. You might have already seen in a previous video that I was indirectly showing that I had one shared because I had tested this out earlier. So I do have to get rid of this one, but this is what it looks like when you are sharing a VPC. It just looks like a normal VPC. But what I'll do is I'll make my way over to AWS Resource Manager. I'll tear down this old one and we'll make a new one from scratch. And I just have to kind of look at how I did this before, as I don't fully remember, but I know I shared it in here. Probably I have to be in the exact same region for it to work. So I'm going to go to CA Central 1. Yeah, there we go. There it is. And, you know, again, I like to do everything via the AWS CLI, but I think for this one, I'll probably end up, it says it's deleted. I'll probably end up doing everything through the console just because this isn't something you do very often, and I don't feel like it benefits from utilizing CLI. So notice that other one vanished. So the idea is that we have two accounts. This is my one of my other accounts, and I want to create a VPC in this account and then share it to this one. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to make my way over to VPC in this other account, and we'll create ourselves a new VPC. So we'll go here to VPCs, and you can see I already had one here before, so I'll just go ahead and delete this one before we proceed. Delete. Okay, not sure what this one is. I'm not sure if this one's in use, but I'm going to ignore it for now. And I'm going to go ahead and create myself a new VPC here. And we'll say VPC and more. I'm going to scroll on down because I do not want to have a VPC endpoint. And I'm going to keep it to 0 subnets. It's interesting you can't choose one. Why can't I just choose one? I'm not sure why. Totally fine. Maybe, oh, you know what? I think it's reliant on the amount of AZs you choose. I'm going to choose one AZ. And keep this set up really simple. Instead of I have 10.0.0.16, oh, look at that. You can toggle through different numbers. That's cool. Okay. We'll start at, I don't know. Trying to figure out something that I can use here. We'll just do, again, I don't know if this is awful looking, but I'm going to make it 12.0.0.0.16. If it works, it works. Who cares? Just drop this down, see if there's anything additional I want to add. I'm going to add a new tag here. And I just want to make sure I have a name for this. I'm going to say name. And we'll just say RAM VPC example. So that should name it. Is this project VPC here? Oh, maybe because it's auto-generating the name. So we'll go down here below. Sorry, we'll go up here. We'll just say project, this is be a RAM example, VPC. And we'll go down below here. I'll just collapse that and create this VPC. Doesn't look like it will let me remove that tag. Great. And so we'll create the VPC that we plan to share. Now that we have created that VPC, we'll go up to actions here. And I don't see an option to share here. So what we'll do is go over to RAM. And we'll share a resource. We'll just say RAM example share. And then it wants us to choose the resource we want to share. Well, in this case, we want to share a subnet because you don't share the VPCs, you share the subnets apparently. And here's the one that we want to share. And so we have it selected, which is good. And we'll checkbox it on down here below. Next. And so it's asking for permissions. Yes. And then there's the principals. This is who's going to be allowed to use it. So we're going to specify the other AWS account here. Copy that. And go over here. And we'll add that. And then we'll add the actual principal. We'll go down below and create the resource. And so now that should allow us to see that resource. So if we go back over to our other account here, and we give this a refresh, we now have two VPCs. So the idea is that some things are shared, but what would happen if we launched an EC2 instance? Let's go ahead and try that out. So there's going to be a couple things. Yeah, we'll create an EC2 instance in this new VPC and with a security group and see what else we can do with it. So go ahead and, first thing I want to do is create a new security group, just separately. And I'll just call this RAM SG because it's going to be shared for that purpose. ASG to show sharing with RAM. And we'll drop this down and we want to choose our 12.0.0.16. For this, I don't care about any of the rules. I just really want to create a security group for me to utilize when I launch an instance. We'll go ahead and create our instance, launch it. I can just say my RAM EC2. We'll choose Amazon Linux 2. The architecture 64-bit is fine. Eligible tier sounds great to me. I don't want to add any key pairs, so I don't care. I want to select an existing security group, which will be the one I created, which apparently is not there because maybe I didn't create it for the correct security group. Very easy for that to happen. So we'll go ahead and just delete this. We'll create this again. My RAM SG, my SG for my RAM, shared VPC. 12.0.0.16. I did select that. So it must be that I have the wrong VPC selected here. So I'm just looking for where the VPC selection is. It's here under network. We'll edit it. There's only one subnet, so that's pretty straightforward. And so now we can select our RAM SG. Go to advanced details here. All looks fine. We'll go ahead and launch this instance. All right, so this is going to launch. And what I'm really interested in is seeing if we can see that EC2 instance over here. Because we shared the VPC, but we didn't necessarily share the security or the instance itself. So I'm just curious. And you know what I did? I did it in the wrong order. So I meant to create it the other way around. But that's okay because maybe this one can see it on this one. So I guess it doesn't really matter. But this is not coming from the reference account. It's going the other way. So let's just see what we can see. So if we go into here, yeah, we have the VPC. We'll go over to EC2, sorry. And so the question will be really, can we see resources in that other account? And we'll refresh that. We'll go back over here and take a look and see how our instances are going. So this is initializing. So what we'll do is we'll wait for this to complete, and then we'll see if it actually appears in the original account, okay? All right, so our instance is running, and so we can see it, of course, in the account that we spun it up in, but can we see it in the adjacent account? And we cannot. So just because we have a resource that is spun up doesn't necessarily mean that we can utilize it, because I would imagine that we'd actually have to share that resource back the other way. Now the question is, what would happen if we launched an EC2 instance from this one? Would it show up over here? And again, I don't think it will, but let's go ahead and try anyway. So we'll call this, and these are separate accounts, but my RAM EC22, we'll just say original, or like original as in it's not the sharing account, it's the account that is doing the sharing, if that makes sense. And so I'm going to scroll on down here and see what options I have. So we have the network. Can I select an existing security group? So that other one exists in the other location. I guess I'll create the default one for now. We'll launch that. And we'll proceed without a key pair. Okay. And let me launch. And so we will see what happens here in just a moment. I'm just going to double check making sure that's going into the correct VPC, as it's very easy to accidentally put it in the wrong VPC. Is that the new one I created? Let's just double check. Because I don't want to go to default. I want to go to the new one. And this launched into the default VPC, so this one is totally useless. So I'm going to go ahead and terminate this instance. Very easy to make that mistake. Let's try this again. So my RAM original EC2. We'll go down below here and we'll choose network and we'll switch over to that one there. I don't know if there is one. So, oh, so now we can select it. Okay, so the other one that wasn't created by us, but by the other account is accessible here, which is good. Wait a second. Wait a second. I'm getting mixed up here real bad. Sorry. So this is the account that actually created it. This is the one that we shared it to, which is the original one, which doesn't have one. So we actually have to launch an instance over here. Sorry. My RAM EC2 original. Confusing, I know. I'm sorry. And what we'll do is choose this one here. And we can see the other one. Okay, that's good. Remember, we didn't make in this one. It's from the other one. The other thing is I don't want to have key pairs because I don't care about that right now. So we'll just say proceed without. And we'll launch this instance. It says the subnet belongs to different accounts. Specify a security group that you own and try again. So we couldn't do it because it is in a security group that we don't necessarily own. So we'll go back to editing this instance. I'm going to create a new security group. We'll just call it my RAM SG original here. I don't care about any of the settings down below. I just want to make sure that it's being created with this one here. We'll go ahead and launch that instance. And so the question will be, will we see that resource in the other account, or will it have to be explicitly shared? My assumption is that it would have to be explicitly shared for us to see it. So this one is launching. I'm going to go back over to here and take a look. Okay, we'll wait for it to be 100% running, and then we'll make that determination, okay? All right, so remember, we launched it in our original account that's doing the sharing. And the question is, do we see it over here? And we don't. So just understand that just because we've shared our subnets does not necessarily mean we can see the resources between them. I think that if we wanted to see them, we'd have to individually share them. So let's go take a look at RAM quickly and see if we could actually share that instance over to here. So we'd see two on that side. What I'm going to do is, just to make things a little bit less confusing, I'm going to go ahead and terminate this other one. So say terminate instance. That is fine. And we'll go back over to here and we'll create a new resource. Just say RAM share instance. It's possible that we could have added it into this group. I don't do a lot of sharing, so it's possible that we could modify this and just add an instance to it. So we'll say instance, EC2, instance. Scroll on down here. Let's check this again. So we've shared the subnet, but we can't see from the other side. Interesting. Okay, just give me a moment, okay? See, now I'm looking at the permissions for the subnet, and it shows that we have permissions to start and describe. I'm not sure if we have like describe. Yeah, we have describe instances in here. So for whatever reason, we don't see the EC2 instance, but maybe that's a different story if we use the CLI. Okay. So that could be something. So just go back here and let's just take a look at our EC2. And we do have an instance running here, so we definitely can see an instance. And this is launched in that shared VPC, I believe. So just carefully looking here for that VPC. Yeah, it's in the shared VPC. And so in this account, we'll go back over to here. Give us a refresh. And we don't see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up command prompt. Or command prompt, terminal. We're not on Windows here. Terminal. And what we'll do is we'll just describe our instances and see if we can see anything. So we'll say AWS EC2 describe instances and see if we get back any results. So we do get something. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what we want because that's a terminated one here. This one's terminated. And this might be easier if it's a table. So I'll just say table. And so what I'm looking for is I want to see if we can see the instance from the other direction here. Okay, because right now we have these two, which is not very useful for us. I'm going to just expand this. I just click this button over here to open in a new tab. And what I'm going to do is just carefully look at this and see if we can see from the other direction. We have down here my RAM EC2. This one says terminated. The one we're looking for is called my RAM EC2 original. Another thing we could do is maybe go ChatGPT and say, because it's just hard to look at that data, but we'll say, for AWS CLI, produce a command that shows the name of, that returns the list of EC2 tag names. Only don't describe, just give me the command. Okay, so I just don't feel like figuring out how to write that query because it's quite the headache. There we go. And hopefully that will help us see what there is in this list. So go back over to here. It says we lost the connection. Oh, it's because it's in this tab. And now it's over here. It's getting mixed up. We'll go ahead and paste that in here and hit enter. And so we have my RAM EC2 original. And so it's over here, my RAM EC2 original. So my thought process here is that the reason we can't see it is that I would think that it's because, well, first of all, let's just rule out, before I say anything else, I just want to make sure that that other one's not a terminated one that just happens to have the same name, but we'll go ahead and enter here. And that's going to return the first one. So this one says terminated. Go down based on the name. My RAM EC2 original. So yeah, so for whatever reason, I can't seem to see it from the other direction. I'm not sure why. I would think that you would be able to, if you launch something in one, you'd be able to see it in the other, but there's something that is eluding me here. So I'm, again, not exactly sure. Give me 2 more seconds to see if I can figure it out. If not, we'll just call it wraps here, okay? All right, so I did a bit of research, and the reason why we cannot see the instance is because we need a cross-account role. So just because we are sharing resources and launching them cross-account does not necessarily mean that we have the ability to have visibility to see those resources, despite what we saw in the rules about like describing instances and things like that. And I guess that makes sense, because if you had an explicit cross-account role, then I guess that'd give you access to it. The main reason for sharing across resources, like having a centralized VPC, is maybe you want the billing to take effect in another account, or other reasons like that. But anyway, yeah, it is what it is. I was hoping that RAM was a little bit more impressive and that it kind of served the purpose of a cross-account role without you having to configure one, or it would configure one underneath. But nope, that's not the case. But we do know how to share a VPC now, so that's kind of cool. We'll go ahead and we will terminate this instance. So we're just doing cleanup here. And this is the count that I don't think that we have an instance in here, but let's just make sure if there is one, they're all terminated. Great. We're sharing from this account, so we'll go back over to RAM. And we'll go ahead and tear this down. There we go. And that's all it takes. And we'll see you in the next one, okay? Ciao.